The news is finally in, guys. We have confirmation that Fear Ascended is happening this Halloween. I'm so glad I can finally bring you guys this information because I was so worried. I made a Fear Ascended video the other day and loads of you guys, we were going through what to expect of it and everything like that. And then recently Studio Wildcard announced this new Ninja Turtle collab and they've not talked about anything about Fear Ascended for a while or anything like that. And then finally Dolly has given us confirmation that it is happening. So we are going to, in today's video, go through Dolly's news, we are going to take a trip down memory lane, and we're going to be taking a look at last year's amazing trailer. Will there be a fantastic tame again this year for Fear Ascended, like the Dreadmare? That's going to be very interesting. If you guys enjoy the video and are very excited to hear the news, drop a like, subscribe, and let's get in with the video. Right, so there was two bits of information over in the Discord from Dolly because a lot of people have been very worried that Fear Ascended and the future events was going to be the end. And I was actually thinking of making a video saying, could it actually be the end of events for ARK? And the reason why I was worried about it is last year they were very sort of they kind of wanted to try and move away from events. And I'm so pleased they've let us know this information now. And so this person said, can you confirm if Fear Evolved is cancelled? And Dolly said, lol, no, Fear Ascended is not cancelled. And she goes on to say a message later on saying, Fear Ascended is still on this year. We don't announce event details until it's nearer to the date. No panic. Now, this is actually very true. They do only announce in crunches closer to the time. In the past, they have done when maybe they thought a community crunch didn't have as much news. They have given us event information a lot earlier. So I do believe that sometimes, there is a kind of point where people were wondering whether they were going to try and cancel it again this year. But by the looks of things, we're all good. And Fear Ascended is going to be on the way. Enjoy the trailer, and I'll see you in the next part. So, what a great trailer that was. I always forget it, and I wonder if this year they're gonna carry on with Club ARK. Are you guys using Club ARK much? I mean, we have it over on the LoadedCrysis cluster, and people do use it, but not really that much. So I'd be interested to see if they're gonna keep doing Club ARK. I mean, it's become a main, a point of the game now. But yeah, anyway, so we are over here on the wiki.gg, and we are here on Fear Ascended #1. Now, Fear Ascended #1 was an ARK Survival Evolved Halloween event that started on the 28th of October 2015, nearly 10 years ago, guys, and ended on November 5th, 2015. This was the OG of all events, and as you can see, it has the Dodo Rex was added for the first time ever, and all you actually had as part of this event was the Bronto and Carno bone costume, the Dino Witch hat skin, the Dodo Rex, the Pumpkin, the Raptor bone costume, the Rex bone costume, the Scarecrow, the Stego bone costume, the Stolen Headstone, Trike bone costume, and Witch hat skin. The Dodo Rex, an only event creature, spawns from time to time with an army of zombie dodos, which, by the way, used to be one of the most overpowered creatures of the entire game. Cave creatures like bats and spiders appear above ground. The leaves of most of the trees on the island are brown and orange instead of green. Nights last longer than usual. The climate is a bit colder than usual. And that was really all we had with the first. Who remembers this photo? This photo is so old school. I can't even explain to you guys. I remember seeing this when I was 16 years old, and I'm 26 now, and it's just incredible looking back at some of this. I love this. It was actually really, really good artwork, whoever made this. And then obviously this was part of the Fear Evolve 1 trailer, and then the first ever look we had at the zombie dodos that were first added in. And then just afterwards, I say just afterwards, a year later, the same date on the 28th of October 2016 until November the 6th, 2016, the first ever Xbox launch happened of Fear Ascended, because obviously it was in early access, and they started adding a lot more. They had the Bone Fire Wyvern, they added the Dodo Wyvern for the first time. This was definitely the first this is when they made big progress. They a year later, they added so much new stuff from the year before. And they had the Clown Mask, that's when it's first added, the Dodo Wyvern Mask, the Giga Bone Costume, Jaboa Bone Costume, because obviously we had Scorched Earth then, and it was a really awesome one, and this was our first ever look at the Dodo Wyvern. I'm sure many of you guys will remember that, and it was a really, really awesome event, and, it wasn't on, I don't think ARK was even on PlayStation then. And I don't know if you guys are the same as me, but I get such a nostalgia when I go back and I look at all of this stuff, because the ARK felt differently back then. And I know, every game, people look back, even Fortnite now. I mean, it's been, that was 2018, and you go back to season 1 of those things, and the games just made you feel different, and it is a nostalgia thing. It's when you're younger and you have that kind of feeling about it, and it's so understandable. But ARK was a totally different game that it is today, and I do personally believe ARK is better these days. I know a lot of people might be frustrated about that. I will always choose my feelings towards Evolved that over Ascended, because being honest, the ARK community was bigger and stronger back in these days. I'm hoping it will be that way again one day, especially when ARK 2 launches. But yeah, really, really awesome event. Now, after this, everything kind of went downhill for Fear Ascended, and it was really, well, I say Fear Ascended, Fear Evolved, because basically there was a lot of changes that went on in the ARK community, and what the changes were is a lot of devs left or got fired, and they brought in a whole new dev team. Around this time, I think Cedric started becoming the community manager, and unfortunately, Fear Ascended was ceased to exist for a little while, as they decided they didn't have enough time. I think they were working on Aberration here, and this is what used to happen a lot back in the day. Studio Wildcard didn't have the capacity or the staff to work on events, and it was something called the Witch's Curse, and I'm telling you, it was the worst thing ever. It was the worst. Oh, it's even here in notes. In comparison to the Halloween events in the last 2 years, this event has less content due to the team development mainly on Aberration, and that's what happened, and this was the worst ever event I think ARK has ever had. It was so bad. I remember it was constantly so freezing. The nights were longer and there were shorter days. It was just terrible, absolutely terrible. Sorry to the Witch's Curse, but I have no love or remembrance for that for that one. Anyway, after that, Wildcard didn't even do a Witch's Curse back in 2018 because it was so bad that they just skipped it in 2018. And finally, out of nowhere, they dropped us the biggest new Fear Evolved event, October the 22nd, 2019 to November 8th, 2019. And this is when so much new stuff got added in. You know, obviously we had the return of the Dodo Wive and the Dodo Rex. So many new costumes and stuff. The trailer for this was absolutely awesome. We had the ×2 rate. And it was just the best. Like, this is where they really leveled up. As you can see, look at all the new costumes and things. This is when it first added in. And I think it was when Wildcard were like, right, we've not given, everyone's been so upset about events, we really need to give it some love. And that's what, like, I will always remember with Fear Evolved 3. It was the first one to really kickstart the events again, and then onwards from that, it just kept growing and growing and growing. I mean, this happened in lockdown, October 22nd, 2020. I don't think that, oh no, this is the first year they added the ghost costume, so that was again more of a change with Fear Evolved 4. And then Fear Evolved 5 came in, again, was massive. 2021 happening year on year after, more ghost skins. This is when they first added in the dance and knock and panic and scare and zombie emotes. We had even more skins. It was just fantastic. And the Straw Man costume as well. And the skeleton one. But nothing. I think 5 has to go down as one of the best. I don't know whether 5 or 6, I think, has to go down as the best ones ever. And as you can see, Fear Evolved 6, which last happened October 19th, 2022. So much is involved in here. We had all the returning skins, the Hockey Master, the Headless costume. I just think this was amazing because we knew this was the last. We knew it was time to say goodbye. It had amazing artwork with all of the new stuff that you could get in with the event. And we knew that within a year's time, there was going to be ARK Survival Ascended, and I find that so crazy because when you think about it, it's September 2025, this was 2022, the last 3 years have just flown by, absolutely flown by, but I'll always have an amazing memory of Fear Evolved 6. And finally, to end off the video, Fear Ascended 2024. There was a break. We didn't have any of the Fear Evolved the year of the launch Genesis because there wasn't Genesis of Ascended. Sorry, because Ascended launched on PC first, which meant console players were waiting a little bit longer, and then that meant that pretty much they didn't have a time to do one, so we had to wait another year, and we finally got the Fear Ascended in 2024, and it was great. There's no information of it here, which I think is pretty poor. It actually launched on the 30th of October, so we nearly missed Halloween. But they added the Dreadmare, which you would have seen in the trailer. It was the first ever fantastic tame for an event. There was just, again, so much stuff. Amazing artwork as well. I always loved this. The werewolf skin was a new thing, and I'm looking forward, guys, to be honest, to see what Studio Wildcard decide to do this year, and and what they decide to make different about Fear Ascended. I'm so happy to have the confirmation from Dolly that Fear Ascended is still on track. It will be coming to the LoadedCrysis cluster, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Catch you guys in my next video.